Well, Ademola Adigun, an oil and gas expert, joins us now in the studio for more on this. Well, we've been here several times on the issue of, fuel scarcity. All of a sudden, the queues, just appear. And then we're told by the NNPC, who is the sole importer of petrol now, that it's a logistics problem, ship to ship. Help us make sense of what exactly is going on now.
Let me start by saying, at least nobody's telling us a snake drank the petrol. So let's say we move forward on that issue. Truth of the matter is that is actually the problem. While it sounds very suspicious, it's the reality of our challenge. But it tells about a bigger problem, which is what is the logistics part of distribution. Remember that in years gone by, we had 54 depots across the country. Those that beat NNPC and destroyed the structure of the country had pipelines from Lagos that supplied all these depots. So there's one in Suleja, there's one somewhere, there's someone in Ibadan and everything. And they went through pipelines. So the idea of disruptions from bad roads or lightning didn't happen because those depots had stock. So if you drive to Suleja now, it's on the right of your road going towards Mina. And those things are there. And what should happen is it should flow from Lagos, from the port to them, to Ibadan, to all these places, where tankers would lift and take to retail stations across the country. A lack of maintenance, vandalism, poor culture has destroyed the whole pipeline. So the 1,530 kilometers of pipeline built, I don't think more than 200 is working now. I mean, despite every year announcements of millions spent on pipeline and other repairs. That's a big challenge. So all the time, and again, because NNPC, for whatever reasons, only imports for shortfalls, as soon as one day disruption happens, then everything collapses. So if we followed the strategic plan as set up by the government, what should happen is I should have a wetting capacity of at least 180 million liters, which should carry you for like 3-4 days on average, or more than that. That way, if there are issues like storms, bad weather and I can't discharge, then this can supply you. There shouldn't be any reason for trucks to get stuck in a local jar flood, like happened last year when we had a long series of problems again, or these issues of lightning. So it's all part of the poor management and the poor logistic supply chain of NNPC and the oil sector now.
Adigun, listening to you, it would seem as if, I'm going to start by saying we're here again. Deja vu, we've seen this before. And it pains anyone, journalists especially, if you've been on this page for decades, to almost year in, year out, have this very ugly discussion. It comes back to NNPC. How relevant is NNPC to ensuring that we get this ugly scenario out of our polity? A situation whereby we have a sole importer in a diversified economy. Isn't that suspicious?
So I think spot on, but I wouldn't put it at NNPC. So
why is that?
Why not? Yes, this. NNPC under the PIA is a commercial entity. Under the PIA, under the law, PIA was passed under the Buhari regime. The PIA sets a regulator, sets a commercial entity, sets an offering commission,
and that's the petroleum industry
and a policy
Act,
organ.
right.
Yeah, that was passed. That was celebrated, and that was there. Has it been implemented faithfully? I do not think so. Secondly, NNPC is a victim of policy. Why is NNPC the only person bringing petrol in? I mean, other people. Since we deregulated the market partially, has there been shortage of diesel? There hasn't been, because anybody can bring diesel in. Women, others bring diesel in. Why is NNPC the only person bringing petrol in the last 7 years? Simply because of price. Nobody else will put money in a venture where you're going to sell below cost price. NNPC, because of government policy, is the only person that, under the law again, the PIA also mandates that the last supplier of order can supply something is bringing at 10 naira, at 6 naira.
So is this indicative of some kind of subsidy still being paid?
One of the things that we don't do properly here is being honest. We design our processes around dishonesty. We try and function as a government without putting facts there. I asked a question here. So in the last 7 years, NNPC has been the only importer of petrol. Why? Because of subsidy.
And I'm asking the question because well,
there is subsidy.
The good thing is that we're the interviewers today. So,
you're correct.
So is this indicative of a subsidy being paid?
There is a subsidy on petrol. No matter how much government tries to deny it, the market forces indicate there's a subsidy. Whenever you have a subsidy, look, let me say something that's very funny. You increase price of a product by 400%. Yeah, people are consuming more. Where in the world does that happen? So, during the Buhari regime, when subsidy was removed, 89 to 130, consumption went down from 60 and 40 liters to 35, 34. Then when subsidy came back, it started rising back again to 41, 52, 53. Now, in the current economic situation of the country, where many of us can't fill our tanks again, where the middle class is clearly being decapitated or disappearing, how do you start moving to 61 liters of fuel a day? The capacity of Nigeria currently right now is 35. Where does 25 go?
Obviously, the borders,
we're supplying back these countries where the prices are so cheap. When you're buying petrol at Togo, Benin Republic at 17, 16, and you're selling Nigeria at 680, 690, 720, 1,000, why would anybody keep the petrol in the country? So that sort of pricing makes certain that you're going to consume more when price has gone up, which is unnatural, which doesn't follow the law of economics.
Exactly.
And then secondly, of course, because you have to keep on pumping so much more so that you can keep both Nigeria and your neighbors. Back to bad habits.
Okay, so back to the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association. They are saying that NNPC has been supplying major marketers directly. Yeah. They're asking that they should be in the loop, that NNPC should supply to them, that it will, help, of course, on the issue of availability and, maybe cost, because they are selling higher at the pump price.
Well, it depends. See, there are different ways you can make the supply easy. Dangote is coming up. One of the things the marketers are fighting is that Dangote doesn't want to go through DAPMAN. DAPMAN is depot people. Because when you bypass depot owners, you can sell at cheaper rates. Right. You can sell, if they take directly from your refinery, you bypass that price differential you pay. Now, the question we should all really be asking is, when are we going to move from one supplier? How are we not going to move from a monopoly to a duopoly? Because of the monopoly of one person bringing it, the person makes everybody at their mercy. So we're at the mercy of an NPC. If I'm Moman, they're now called MEMSA, I can't go and bring my own petrol products in. And I have my own channels. IPP, independent marketers, should be able to bring their petrol in. Anybody under the PIE are stated. So this is one of the failures of regulation. So the people, the corporates in this situation, of course, is the policy people who set the policy, who say, look, NNPC import and sell at cheaper prices. The regulator, NMDPRA, which should be the person you're seeing more.
Let's even talk about the regulator. How efficient or how effective is NMDPRA?
Well,
in ensuring that you don't have this backdoor supply of fuel, because you have black marketers all over the streets, and everybody's asking, how come?
Well, black market is a function of scarcity anyway, being honest. Whenever you get scarcity in any economy, there are black marketers. But again, give it to the NMDPRA. It's a creation of law. And unlike the Upstream Commission, which had the DPR, which was strong, they had nothing. They had the fusion of agencies which were not really regulators. You had the PPPRA, which was price control. You had a PEF, a collection fund, and a fusion of some DPR stuff. So it's still evolving. But again, it has to start asserting itself. What I expected at this point in time was not NNPC being the ones issuing press releases, because it's a commercial entity. I expected NMDPRA to be the one telling us what's happening in the retail value chain and others. Right. So its lack of visibility portends and indicates a clear sense of not yet being on top of their jobs.
I'm happy, Adigun, you bring up this because, and you took it out of me quickly here, and it has to do with not being visible, and also the era of press releases, I think, should be over. You should engage the people more. So NMDPRA, NNPCL, I still wonder why that L is there, because the L isn't actually showing why the L is there. Yeah. Should be speaking to the Nigerian people. What do we expect of them going forward, apart from assuring people, just putting out releases there? What should we see in the next 24 hours? Because the releases does not actually match what you see out there on the streets.
In real terms, we don't even want to see them. The reason why you see them is because there's a breakdown. When you're working effectively, you work effectively behind the scenes. Right. People feel you. People don't need to see you. When we see them going to petitions and saying blah, 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 it's failure. It's a sign of failure. Have you ever seen any yam seller going to yam markets? Have you ever seen? It doesn't happen. It shouldn't happen. These are anomalies. So we don't want press releases. Look, I want to drive in and buy fuel. I don't want to be told there's thunderstorm. I don't tell there's snakes or whatever happened. I just want to go in, buy petrol at the prices. What the regulator should do is protect us from manipulation or extortion. We have a Dangote coming up, which should happen. Again, protect us. Ensure that we don't move from a monopoly, which is NNPC, to a duopoly.
So do you think the fortunes of Nigerians will change if this duopoly comes on stream? You have NNPCL and the Dangote refinery. Yeah. What exactly is going to change?
Well, what will change is that we'll conserve money on exports. We'll have energy security, which Dangote refinery brings to us. We'll get more opportunities downstream. Dangote refinery is a beautiful thing, but it's not enough. It will solve the problem. It's part of the solution to the problem. The key problem is deregulate properly. Find a way of ensuring price stability and predictability. We're not the only country going through a crisis economically. South Africa has a system where they allow you know a month in advance what the price of petrol will be. And everybody adheres to it. Many countries have systems they follow. But here, when we say, okay, there's no subsidy, but okay, and NNPC is not bringing in, why do we have shortfalls this long? You should, by now, after 50 years, know how much we consume on a monthly basis.
That's the place to wrap it, and sadly so, Ademola Adigun, I hope that next when you come on the show, we're talking about something better and not go back to the same conversation we've always gone back. Many thanks as always for coming on Newsline.